Buongiorno. Welcome to the introduction to the second half of the competition. This is also the final half. So after this, you either made it or you did it. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'm pretty excited for all you guys who made it. I hope you're all here. Right? You'll still be here. You'll still be able to review this if you're not. But this is where you're going to be able to get your questions answered. So if you have any questions at all, we're going to be filling it out. But first, I would like to give everybody an update on what the heck to expect in this final round. All right. And if anybody's expecting a further critique, it won't be. There won't be no additional critique. I won't be looking deeper into it. Right. The first round was very lenient. We were super lenient on decisions on who to cut and who not. Over 60% of the applications were accepted, right? So only about 40% were declined. And if they were declined, they would decline for very obvious reasons, right? But this next part's going to be a doozy, all right? So let's start it off. First of all, the next round will begin on December 1st, all right? You'll have the entire month of December to finish your submission. All right. Now you gotta understand it's the holidays too. That's why I'm giving you a month because it's the holidays. It's gonna be a little hectic, right? But at least you'll have a whole month to get your submission in. The submission is gonna be a 5-page long short story. All right, 5 pages long. You will have no creative freedom in adding anything outside of the template that we're about to give you. We're going to give you customized stories. So it's going to be like, let's say somebody's writing about Anthos, right? We're going to have a story for you. There's going to be a small beat sheet. It's going to be a very short and small beat sheet. It's going to give you a beginning, middle, and end. And there's going to be a couple of key things you're going to have to add to your story as well. But at this point, you're going to show me who is the better writer, period. Right? This is the competition of writing now. It's not a competition of who has the coolest ideas or anything. That was the first round. First round, I wanted to see what kind of energy you had. Second round is who's actually going to be a competent writer. All right. So the things that are absolutely critical. First, formatting. You got to have the proper format. You don't got the proper format, you're automatically going to lose. I'm promising you that. All right. So proper formatting, proper text, proper spacing, all that stuff matters. Second part is you're going to have to basically stick to the script. Don't add a lot of new language. Don't make assumptions about the world, right? I see a lot of people, when I was looking at the original takes, some people were saying stuff like talking about Horace, like Haru, and talking to Socrates, and all this crazy stuff that's not even in the Black Sands universe, right? Don't do that, all right? If you do that, you're going to set yourself up for automatic failure, right? We don't want people coming in and giving their version of what Black Sands is. We want them to write stories for Black Sands. You understand? So you got to stick to the universe. Lastly, basically, in the parameters that we set, you can make a lot out of it. I mean, you got 5 pages to tell me a dynamic story. So there's no way in hell everybody's going to tell the same story, right? There's no way everybody's going to get to the end the exact same way, right? So that's going to be your decision on how you want to get there, right? What conflicts you want to have, whether they win the conflicts or lose the conflicts, whether they at the end they're in a vengeful state or they're in a victorious state. I'm not telling you how it ends. I'm just telling you where it ends. You understand? It ends at this point. You got to get there. All right. So I want to see what people could do. We're going to have a very long review time about this because we got to review it. But once we have like a proper review and we're really out there critiquing and stuff like that, you're going to get a good critique. You're not going to get a 1-sentence critique. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people who don't win, but if there's like really close competition, like let's say there's 3 people who could have won Anthos. We can only pick one, right? It don't mean we're not going to make something up for those other 2 people to start writing, right? We might do that. I don't see why I should throw away other writers if they were very close. They're very close. They just need a different opportunity. So we're going to be reviewing everything deeply, you know. So remember, I'm the creator of Black Sands. Don't add nothing that I didn't add into the universe. All right. Don't go into Socrates. Don't add pyramids when I ain't put pyramids in the time period. Right. Don't talk about characters that are in completely different parts of the world at the time. Don't create emissaries from other nations. Don't do that. Stick to the bubble that is Kush. Kush in the bubble. Stay inside the bubble. Okay. And also, for anybody who's writing for Surkati, a lot of writers for Surkati had one problem that a lot of them face. They think that Surkati is working with the Greeks. And that's just a mistranslation of what I said, right? What I meant to say, and I think there is a communication gap there, so I'm not blaming you for this. What I meant to say is the Titans, that's the people in Greece, the Titan gods, right? So that's the influence. The Spartans hate the Titans, and they would probably kill Surkati, right? Because they don't like anybody who likes the ancient gods. Like, they're extremely biased. Almost all Greeks hate the gods. They all hate the gods. They're at war with the gods. You know what I'm saying? So ain't gonna be no Spartans coming down to help Surkati do anything. If they found out Surkati even existed, they probably would kill his ass. You know what I'm saying? So let's not worry about that. Let's try to keep all the Greek stuff up to the side for now, right? And be more about the actual belief system and stuff like that. That's cool if you bring out the belief system of what he's actually practicing. That's great, right? But try to leave the Greeks out of it. Now, I'm opening up to the ground. Everybody here can ask questions. The short stories will be on World Anvil. So I will be giving you all the information on World Anvil probably in a week or so. I'm going to give you all the information you'll need for the competition, right? And then you can go and do your research there, right? And start writing. And remember, please read Black Sands, all of it. Read Titan Wars. Read the First Pharaoh. Read the Seven Kingdoms. You have it. It's released. It's in Patreon. It's free. Download the digital copies and read it. Don't write stuff that's not in the Black Sands universe. All right? I've literally rejected a couple of people because they literally didn't read a single ounce of Black Sands. I could tell by what they were writing that there's no way they read Black Sands. You know, so I was like, you can't be a writer for Black Sands and you didn't even read the source material, right? So make sure to read it again. Recognize the rules in place in the Black Sands universe, right? And go with that. Don't try to make it too woke, right? Don't try to add too much conscious ideas in there, like the third eye opened and he and in a dream he stated, you know, that the eye of Horus and the message. Don't do all that. Don't do all that. We don't do it at Black Sands, so don't add it here, right? You want to make your own book, make your own book, but don't do that in the competition. It's gonna hurt you. It's gonna hurt your prospects. All right, let's open it up. Questions. All right, so first question is, can you say what people of Fengyang? I have no clue what that means. Can you reword that question? Let's see. How many people completed in the first round? Competed in the first round? 80. 80 people competed in the first round, and I would say about 50 made it to the second round. 50. So we weren't cutting that many people. If they were cut, they were cut for very, very blatant reasons. Like they didn't do a summary, or they had no formatting at all, so it's just one big wall of text, or they wrote stuff that had nothing to do with Black Sands. Like it was like a random story, you know, submission. So those are the people that got cut. If you look like you were a competent writer and you filled out the thing properly, you probably made it to the next round. Better context on this. I still don't know what this like. read your questions and then put them back in there. Okay. I don't know what this says. Why wars concept story always? I don't know what that. I don't even know what that. I can't read the sentence. So please just rewrite it. Is it a strict 5-page limit? Yes, 100% strict. 100% strict, and you will follow the proper format, the proper text size, everything. 100%. The reason for this is very simple. In the actual job description, you're going to be writing 30-page entries. It's about 10,000 words, 30 pages. You're going to be writing them in a certain font, in a certain spacing, with a certain format. You're going to write it perfectly so that when we have the editor go through it, it's not going to change that much, and we're going to be able to upload it immediately. If we have to go and recreate the entire thing because you wrote like 30,000 words in 30 pages, right? Because you wrote real small, or had no spacing, or whatever, it's going to be a nightmare for us. So we're going to handle it that way. I have no suggestions. If you made it, great. If you made it, great. If you didn't make it, I gave a reason why you didn't make it. But I got no suggestions on anybody. I had to read like 300 pages of submissions. You know, because a lot of y'all didn't do 3 pages. Some of y'all did 5 pages, 7 pages, right? Y'all ain't listen at all. So I had to go through like 300 pages. I ain't giving no critiques for nothing. I'm gonna wait until we get to the part where it's like really matters. Can you say what people who competed for Fan Yang messed up? All right, so misconceptions for Fan Yang. I guess that's a good one, right? Misconceptions for Fan Yang. A lot of people got cut for Fan Yang for not listening to my description of Fan Yang. I straight up said Fan Yang is a villain. I said that right from the jump. I put it in the description too. He's a villain, not a good guy, right? And I said that his son is the only one holding the kingdom together because, you know, he has at least some level of honor and responsibility. But Fan Yang pretty much lost all his desire to, you know, be ambitious, you know, once he gained power. So and a lot of people said Fan Yang's a hero who got a little bit misplaced. Some people try to make it super adult. They were like, Fan Yang had 7 naked women on him in the room, moaning and screaming. And I'm like, cut, declined, right? So remember, Black Sands is a family-friendly company. YA is the highest you're going. If you have more violent or more provocative stuff than, let's say, Twilight, most likely you're going to fail. You know? People can die, but you can't have all that extra stuff that's adult content. You know what I'm saying? So Fan Yang was very much, some people went way outside the borders of what I said. Either they tried to make him a good guy somehow, or you know, they freaking made it super adult. That was one of the biggest problems I saw with Fan Yang. What happens after the second is completed? Any contract signed or something? Yes, there's going to be an offer. If you accept the offer, you'll get a contract. You accept the contract, you'll start to work. That's it. And then everybody else will know that they didn't make it. Because I'm not going to tell people they ain't make it. Well, at least the top 3. I'm not going to tell the top 3 they ain't make it until somebody finishes the contract. They sign their contract. Everybody else will be like, all right, looks like we have our deal signed for our lead writer. Unfortunately, you guys couldn't make it. But there might be more opportunities, so be sure to watch your emails. That's how it's going to be. Yes, there will be a contract. You can always ask my other creators. Like you can ask, I think Kylan's in the competition, Kylan Hunter. He had a contract, right? So there's other competitions where people got contracts and they started working. Are you expecting formatting like indentation? Absolutely, 100%. And we'll make sure that you guys have the proper stuff for that. But most likely what we're going to do is we're going to format the pages for you. Like we're going to give you a document that's already formatted. That way, all you got to do is stick to the already established format. You know what I'm saying? Do you have some people who you're already like, yeah, he's a great writer? Yeah, people I put stars next to. You'll never know who it was. But I did put stars next to people's submissions. Some people's submissions I thought, ooh, that's pretty freaking good. Great angle. I'm never going to let you guys know, right? I'm never going to let you guys know. But, you know, here's a tip that I think everybody needs to have. It's a really good tip because I thought it really added to the story for one of the submissions that I got. It was a Surkati story. So somebody was writing for Surkati and they talked about his origin, right? His origin when he was talking to his brother or whatever. It was pretty cool, right? I never mentioned the brother, but he made a brother. I was like, all right. But the idea was this. He made a scenario. I'm not going to spoil anything so people copy him, right? But he made a scenario in which there was a conversation going on, a very important conversation when they were kids, right? And then that scenario comes again in the future with a complete random stranger. And when the stranger answers his question, the answer comes from the same answer that he got when he was a kid. And then because of that, he decided to do something about it, right? And lead that person a certain way. And I was like, that was a great way to give the to ground the character and give context and not obvious. Like I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but at least I have kind of an idea based on the past interactions and the fact that he brought in a memory into his what. And it was crazy that he fit all this. He fit all this in that short thing. So what I'm saying is try to make your character matter. All right. A lot of people did basically a scene from like a fighting movie. They were like, and this and that's the ones that did the worst to me. Right. I still let them pass, right? But they were passing by the skin of their teeth. All right. Where it's like this. I went into the desert, and when we got to the desert, an attack happened, and I punched and I kicked and I shouted and I screamed, and we won the day. And then an ambush came, and then we fought them back, and then we took the money, and then I said, "No, we don't take money. We're good guys." It's like it's like there's no character development. There's nothing there that tells me that you like. I could have put that on any character, right? It didn't matter who was the main character in the story. If the main character of the story is not where this story could not happen as another character, if you ever read your stuff and think, man, that could have been someone else doing that. That could have been somebody else that was the main character of that entire thing. Then that was a bad fucking story. That was a bad story, and you need to rewrite it completely from the ground up. If you can see any other character in that role, most likely is too generic. Way too generic. Let's see. I think I just went over that, so I'm gonna let that one slide for now. If you have any other ideas, just come back to me. Let's see. Are we supposed to write the characters into the current Black Sands universe or use the prequel material? The prequel material is from the current Black Sands universe. It's just before the timeline. This is before Apetamak becomes the Kushite king. So this is like a prequel to a prequel. It's like the earliest stages of the Black Sands universe as far as like people stuff, right? There's ancient stuff, but there's no people stuff in the Black Sands universe going on prior to this. So this is man versus man type stuff. But it is in the Black Sands universe. There are established rules in the Black Sands universe. For instance, one person said when they were talking about Surkati's beliefs, right? They were like, hey, you know, Noon, we hate Noon. Noon is the defiler. Noon is the person who's basically betrayed the ancients and is the great evil. And I was thinking in my head, wow, this person read the hell out of the story. Because if you're an ally to the ancients and the Noon is the exact Noon hates the ancients for betraying him, you would spin that scenario to say that Noon was the great betrayer. You would spin that if you were a cultist for the ancients. So I was like, fucking great choice. That was an exceptional choice. I said, that's a great way to establish your religion. That was a great decision. You know? And I got that person starred too. So if a whole bunch of people start copying him, right, and they all are close, he's gonna get the win because he came up with the first with the idea first. All right. Some people got stars next to them because they came with some really original stuff that I thought really added to the story. Right. So y'all can run with that if y'all want to, but y'all better make Surikati a lot cooler than just that one like idea of his religion. You know, it better be more than that because if it comes equal, if there's a face off, I'm automatically choosing him because he brought the idea to the front in the first place. And I'm letting y'all know just because it was such an amazing idea, it should be canon. It should be canon. That was 100%. I read the source material. I read Black Sands, and I know for a fact they would hate Noon. If they worship the ancients, they would hate Noon because Noon is against them. When's the due date? January 1st. Why not? January 1st. Only the applicants who made it through. Only applicants who made it through. Does Minkab's son have a name? Did I put a name in the description? I don't know. If I didn't, that's probably my mistake, right? But if I didn't, that's just a little bit oversight. It's oversight. Feel free to make a name for him, but look at old names. Look at old names from the region, and then come up with a good one. It's fine. Are the warlords called kings or chiefs? Depending on the culture, right? Depends on the culture. For instance, would you call Anfos a chief? Maybe not. I don't even know if he would have an official title, you know, because his system is by honor. Like Anfos is a very honorable dude, right? And his father was always like a great man. I don't know if they have titles like that. Whereas Fan Yang, you better call him king or emperor, or whatever the heck you want to call him. You better call him the highest praise level you could possibly get, right? And maybe Minkab, right, is called something else. Maybe he's a justicar or judge or whatever you want to call him. He's obviously a lawbringer. He's a great lawbringer. So maybe he has a title for that. Maybe it's not just chief and king, right? People like being called whatever they want to be called, right? Hail Caesar. So think of something. What is the best way to contact you if we have questions about something in the contest, such as taboos, content, lore? I don't want to have too many questions. However, right, if you're thinking something might not like mesh well, shoot it at me. Shoot it at me. You can shoot it at me. Most likely the best way to shoot it at me is by just emailing me. I'm sure all of you are my customers, so just my email, mgodoy@blacksandsentertainment.com. Make sure to put in the freaking make sure to put in the subject matter, right? The subject line. Make sure to put in there questions about the second round, right? That way I know it's not junk mail, right? Don't be like, I have a question. You know how many solicitations I get where it starts with, I have a question, or hey, Black Sands, and it'll be like some freaking telecommunications company trying to sell me something. So make sure it says questions about the second round, and most likely I'll read it. Don't ask no vague questions too. Like, how do I make it better? Do that, and I swear I'll fail you before you even submit anything. If you ask a question like that in my emails, flooding my emails with, how can I improve myself? I am going to destroy you. Okay? I'm giving you my email so you can email me real serious questions. So make it specific, very specific. When and where are your shows that you help? What I don't even know what the hell that means. Wait, what? When and where are your shows that you help other? What? Please rewrite that. I don't know what that means. How many apples people? Ooh, that's a lot. You're screwed. Aphos people are gonna be Aphos and Masika are gonna have a problem. Aphos and Masika are gonna have a big problem. There is a lot of you. There is a lot of you. Y'all gonna have some problems. Y'all better figure out some way to make yourself stick out because there's a lot of them. Yes, Valencia. You want to come down here? You got clothes on, right?
Yes, I do have clothes.
Okay, then you can come down here, but don't put the sound all super loud, okay?
I'm percent.
What?
I like putting it 10%.
10%?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, go ahead and put it 10%. How you get all that hot sauce on your shirt? Dawn now.
And I put a lot of hot sauce
Oh, duh.
to make it extremely hot.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Aphos people, y'all screwed, man. Y'all got to fight. Y'all got a big fight. Mincab and Fenyang people, y'all good. Y'all don't have to fight that hard. You still got to qualify, though. I'll be honest with you. If no one qualifies, I will not allow a character to go forward. I'm gonna be honest with you. If nobody qualifies, that will happen. But I think most people showed enough where there will be a winner for every character. I think I've had some pretty strong entries, right? And I might need to mold them. So there might be somebody who's like close, but still very off. And I might have to mold them into the proper writer. So they'll need like additional training for how to write this character. But for the most part, I think all the characters will make it. Will the requirements also be on Patreon? It'll be on World Anvil, and I'm gonna release it on Patreon. So I'm gonna give y'all all the information. Y'all can get it from there, right? So you'll have it. You'll definitely have it. And like I said, it's a month long. So if you don't get in the first day or two, or if you can't find it first, you'll have plenty of time to get it done.
Daddy, how do you do 7? I mean 8.
L2. L2.
L?
Yeah, that's L. And L2 is the second button, the trigger. And then what's next?
L?
What's the next one? 5. R1.
Is that R or is that
That's R.
this one?
Both of them are R. R1 is the top one. R2 is the trigger. And then what? Let's see if she can pull this off. We just got a PlayStation, so she's trying to use the code to go and get on there. See if she can do it. All right. What happened here? What the heck is this?
What is this?
The wrong PlayStation logo was entered too many times. All right. Wait a second. I'll be right back. She locked me out.
Why did you go out stop?
Because you missed it. You didn't do it right. Let's see.
I thought you have a meeting.
I do have a meeting. You're interrupting my meeting. All right. So, bam, bam, bam. What? What? Why did it make me reset it? Bam, 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 bam.
Why did we let you restart it?
I don't know why they did it, Valencia.
Because
Probably because you kept messing it up.
what?
Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. What do you want to see from people who are writing Aphos? I think what I would love to see is moral decisions that have massive consequences. There you go. Anthos is one of the only characters in the story where his decisions have dire consequences. His code of life, his ethics, his code is really going to dictate his fate. All right. I'll give you a good example of him. Belian from Kingdom of Heaven. Belian from Kingdom of Heaven is a great example of what an Anthos-like character is. You can marry the queen. You can marry my sister right now, and there will be no war between, right? There will be no war between the Muslims and the Christians. You'll be the king, and we'll execute the other dude, right? We'll execute him because he's going to get everybody killed. All you got to do is accept the marriage. And he's like, I cannot have another man killed. I said, this dude is a murderer. He is somebody who's evil. Doesn't matter. He should die, right? But his code is, I cannot have somebody killed in order for me to gain power. So he just declines, and because of that decline, the marriage with the evil dude goes through, and a war breaks out between massive amount of people. A whole bunch of people die because the man tried to hold to his freaking honor code. All right? Great example of the kind of Anthos effect. He's an honorable man to a fault. To a fault. So you got to make it where it works in his favor, and it also works against him. That's Anthos. To confirm, we cannot include other warlords in our story. Yes, don't do that unless I specifically say so. Furthermore, if you talk about, you could talk about their soldiers. Like for instance, if you run into Min-Cab's soldiers, right? That doesn't affect Min-Cab's story. So if Min-Cab was writing a story at the exact same time, that wouldn't affect his story, right? It's like it's just a random group of soldiers under Min-Cab's rule. You understand? So that could happen, right? But so long as it's not Min-Cab himself making decisions, because that's not your character. You're not writing that character. So you don't get to decide how that character will react or not react. You understand? Two short stories and we're told or we're chosen for one. That means the other one failed. Simple as that. If you didn't get the other one, right, then it failed, or we just didn't feel like giving you that other character. Just being honest with you. Like when I see two from the same person, I choose which one they should go after based on how close they were. I'm like, that one was pretty close. I like that one. The other one, let's just throw it away. I gotta read this stuff. I ain't trying to read 10, 15, 20 pages from one person. And by the way, this is one of our creators, Kylan Hunter. He writes Carthage. So if you didn't know that, guys, he's one of the creators who won back in 2020. All right. And he's about to release chapter 2 of Carthage. The second we find a cover artist. So chapter 2 of Carthage should be out soon. And it's the same question? Yes. Only the character that we accepted, that's the one you're writing. The other one's dead. Dead to the world. Never will be written again. Can we include any other historical facts? Include historical facts about Kush and Moreau. You can talk about culture. Culture is fine. Culture is fine. Cultural facts is fine. Don't try to actually write historical events. All right. Cultural, yes. Why not? Throw some culture in there. Throw a little flavor in there. But don't say, don't get too deep into the language. I don't want to see foreign language in there. Everything should be readable by people who know nothing about Kush and nothing about Kerma. They should know basically what you're saying, which is the reason why we say Pharaoh, right? Instead of, the native word for it, which is the reason why we use certain words instead of the native word that the Kushites and the Kemetic people used, right? only because it would confuse readers. So sometimes we use the more commonly known word. You know what I'm saying? And it don't mean that we don't know anything. We just don't want to freaking make it a hard read. You know what I mean? Will the universe be a part of your animation series? Who knows? This is an experiment. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's 100% an experiment. We're trying to see if we can get into novels, and we're trying to see if we can give people more opportunities to write for our company. So this is all an experiment, an expensive experiment from me. All right, I'm gonna spend a lot of money to see if this works or not. But if it does work, hell, we can have a whole division of writers for Black Sands, for original novels, original titles, right? You never know, right? But first, we got to see if we can even pull it off. So that's what this is, a very expensive experiment from me, right? I think I'm going to fund, no matter what, I'm going to fund at least $20,000 worth of novel entries before I assess. You understand? So before I go, is this working out or not? I'm gonna do at least $20,000 worth of chapters, and that would be 40 chapters, 40 entries. Let's see. Let's see. Can with Amphos, can we add other characters from Black Sands universe? No, never. You can't create. You can't add any characters from any part of our universe besides the universe, the section that you're in. That's called too much. That's called messing up other people's stories, right? If you go and add a story and say he's over here in Moreau, right? This character's in Moreau. What if I'm writing a story about that time period, but in Kemet? Can't be two places at once, right? You just force that character out of wherever the hell we might take them in the future, right? So absolutely no characters brought in for your story, period. If they don't already exist in that time and space, don't bring them in. Are you still in business with Kevin Hart? Yep, sure am. Sure am. Did you just see the Variety article? You didn't see the Variety article? It came out like 2 weeks ago. Let me see. Let me see. Variety, Black Sands. There you go. Here we go. Yep. So there you go. Let's go and present. What's going on? More. Uh, my son. He's sick. Share screen. What? There you go. So there you go. You know, Variety had an article, right? Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Media Company inks exclusive partnership deal with Black Sands Entertainment. Yada yada yada. You should read this article when you get a chance. It tells you a lot about what's going to happen, what's the plan, right? So here's one of the bigger parts right here. So as part of this agreement, Heartbeat will offer strategic advisory services to help push Black Sands storytelling efforts into the TV and film realm. Currently, the two companies are collaborating on an animated feature and series focusing on the Black Sands eponym, whatever the hell eponymous means, flagship series. So in other words, right now we're currently trying to make Black Sands, the Seven Kingdoms, a show. And that's public. That's public knowledge. That's straight from their corporation at Heartbeat. So that's not us, that's them. So yeah, 100% the deal is done. Now we just got to make a big play, right? Let's see what else. How in depth can we go into Amphos and Masika's relationship? I'm glad you asked this, even though that's not how you spell Masika. But I'm glad you asked this because this was one of the biggest taboos I've seen in the entire thing. I'd say about 50% of the people who wrote about Masika brought up the relationship with Amphos. So like there was a large portion of Masika writers who made a scenario in which she's dealing directly with Amphos, right? And it didn't happen the same way with Amphos. So Amphos, I think maybe 10% of the Amphos submissions revolved around his relationship with Masika, but Masika, 50% of the submissions was some kind of romantic involvement or conversation with Amphos. I thought that was a little weird, but it gave me great hindsight on what was wrong with perceptions. So a lot of people ignored the chart that I put up there when it comes to relationships. And in that chart, the relationship between the two is this. Amphos is open about his love for Masika. So he doesn't hide it well. Publicly, he doesn't really hide it well that he is very attracted to her and cares about her, right? However, Masika publicly is indifferent. So if you ever see them two together, Masika will act like she don't know the dude. She will be like, yeah, he's just a warlord I know. Playing politics. You understand? So any situation, it would be Amphos trying to show affection, and she would not be doing that unless they were completely private. They were private, then yes. But outside of private stuff, it's as if the dude, I don't even know dude like that. Because she got a job to do. She's a mercenary. Out of all the people out there, Masika is probably the most misunderstood character. She's a mercenary. She works for all the warlords. Secretly, she wants to get rid of the worst warlords, but it's not like she won't do a job for those warlords to look impartial and build her power. She's trying to build her power. So she has to get resources, equipment, and everything else. So she takes jobs from all the warlords. Right? Nobody knows her alliances. All right. So a lot of people miss that. I hope they don't miss it this time. All right? Do you have creative space to discuss and mention Amphos' father? Absolutely. Absolutely. Please give me a flashback. Please give me a flashback that decides why he's making a current decision. Give me a good scene where he thinks back on his father's interaction and he says, my dad would have never did this and I won't either. Some crap like that. I don't care. Make me care about the character and why he's so loyal to his father's ideals. That's why I like the one about Surkati, because he brought up family and past experience. I said, ooh, this is so deep. Oh, man, I like this character. I care about this character. This story cannot work if it's not this character. The second you don't add flashbacks or you don't talk about their past experiences or what made them the person they are today, the less likely yours will stand out, because it could have been anybody who that story was about. Make it exclusively about your character. Let's see. Any MinCab writer stood out? In all honesty, I think MinCab in general, people did pretty good, right? So long as they understood that he's basically a great man, right? He's the king. If anybody's the king, as far as like the real king in this time period, it's him. He's the real king. If anybody needs to know who's the real leader in this place, It's him. So people who like writing about dynasties and order and building governments and all that stuff, they're gonna love writing MinCab, and that's the people. Almost everybody who submitted for MinCab liked the idea of building basically their own empire. You know, of having structure and discipline and talking about the code and how his son might not understand the code yet, but he will one day. You know what I mean? So mid-cap writers have got that down pretty good. You know. How often do you think the winners will submit chapters? Well, in all honesty, it's going to be like 1 month turnarounds. 1 month turnarounds whenever we give you a new assignment. No matter what, you got to submit within 1 month. And the first draft needs to be in 2 weeks. We're gonna have a editor dedicated to the teams, so they're gonna look over all your stuff the second you submit it. But it's gonna be fast turnarounds, and then as we get them first drafts, we'll know where your story's going, and we'll work on the future timelines based off of those decisions. For instance, sometimes what some of these writers might write something that's so impactful to the whole universe that we have to create a new event, right? That everybody has to react to. So they have to so there has to be an assignment block. Like some people will have to skip a month while this scenario gets resolved. It's kind of like when you watch Game of Thrones and the first 10 episodes of Game of Thrones is all split up. Everybody gets 10, 15 minutes per episode, all these different characters. But then episode 11, all of a sudden there's a big war going on at King's Landing, and episodes exclusively about one character, and the whole multiple different characters and everything else don't matter anymore. This is dedicated to this particular character. What happens in this particular moment will impact everybody else's writing. So no one writes until this part is done. That'll happen. That'll happen a lot. Pivot points. Why limits the concept story? Because too many rules. Because I own it. This ain't an original story. This is not an original story. This is my story. It's literally my creation. So I'm going to limit the hell out of it. My name goes on everything. This is my IP. I've created everything from the ground up. Multi-million-dollar IP. You know, people should be very lucky that they get to write on my story and actually make stuff that could be canon in my universe and get all the potential deals in the future off of that. Because if you're writing one of these characters, this character happens to blow up in popularity, I might decide to do a screenplay on that character. If that character gets a screenplay and it gets picked up for a show or whatever, right? Who's going to be one of the writers who are going to be picked up to write that show? The writer of the series, whoever wrote the story. And then they're going to get paid their Hollywood writer's fee, whatever the hell it is, right? Because they earned it. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, limit the hell out of it. Super limited. Lucky I'm not being super strict because this is my baby. This is my IP. You know, y'all could trash it just that fast. Y'all can make it worse. So I got to be very stringent. Can you put other historical characters? Nope. Do you want us to refrain from making posts on social media about the contest? It don't really matter. You can write whatever you want, right? Now, one thing's for sure. When you're done, right? When you get to the next stage, you're probably going to have to sign an NDA. You're probably going to have to sign a regular contract, and you're not going to be able to reveal the stories until we release them, right? We don't want you spoiling the story, right? But that's it. You know, nothing too crazy. Just don't spoil the story the official story. We don't care if you share your unofficial story, like the one you're doing right now. I don't give a damn about that, right? But when it comes to the contracted stuff that's really going to be official story, I don't want the whole world to know that you were going this way and we decided to go that way. You know what I mean? So here's a good question. This is kind of a context question, right? Can you explain lawful evil versus chaotic evil? All right, so here's a very easy way to explain this. If y'all understand politics, right? Here's a great example. All right, Donald Trump, chaotic evil. He does evil stuff to his sole benefit. Chaotic evil are greedy people. They do anything they can in order to win or get pleasure or to make themselves feel better. Anything, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how destructive it is, so long as they're feeling better at the end of the day, it's a win. That's a chaotic evil person, right? That means there's no method to their madness. There's no method to why they're being evil other than the fact that they care about themselves. They only want to, they are 100% self-absorbed. Lawful evil has a system, a code from which they follow. So even though they would prefer to kill you, if you're protected by the rules that they follow, they won't kill you, no matter how much they want to. But God forbid you slip. God forbid you slip an ounce and they can legally go after your ass. It's on, but they are not going to outstep whatever system's in place. So Donald Trump, chaotic evil. Mitch McConnell, lawful evil. Mitch McConnell ain't going to do anything. He ain't going to do anything that he can't pull off as a politician through policy or whatever. But the second you give him an opportunity to screw you over, you best believe he gonna get you. He gonna get you. Give him one opportunity to get ahead, he gonna get you. Mitch McConnell gonna get you. That's a lawful evil dude, man. Just the other day, just yesterday, he voted against the interracial marriage bill. Dude's married to an Asian. He voted against his own marriage. That's a lawful evil dude, man. That's a lawful evil dude. He said party over household. That's a lawful evil dude, man. Will the winners be mentioned in the publication? Yeah, you're gonna be the writer. I'm not gonna hide that. It's gonna be right there, written by Zoe Chapman. Nobody's gonna be ghostwriters here. Everybody's gonna be credited. All right, no ghostwriters. The only thing you're not getting is royalties. You're getting straight up pay. You know what I'm saying? But you're not getting royalties. Now, if we have spinoffs, if we have good spinoffs because the character was very popular and we do like a novel about it or something like that, that'll probably be a traditional publishing deal, royalties and everything else. But as far as these entries, $500 per chapter, and you will be the writer. You'll straight up be the writer. I'll be a contributor. I won't even be like co-writer. I'm gonna be a contributor. I'm just gonna give you the premise of what you need to write in this area, and then you're gonna create it, right? I'm just leading the way. Basically, I'm setting the goalpost. I'm like, here's the goalpost of where the story goes, right? As long as you keep hitting them goalposts, you're the writer of the series. No problem. All right, guys. So I'm done. I've hit the bottom of the list. All the questions have been answered for the most part. I'm sure you got some more. If you need to, you can always reach out. Like I said, just email me, right, and put in the subject line questions about the second round. Remember, all you people out there, for the second round, don't ask me any questions until I put the information out, all right? Like December 1st, I'm gonna have all the information out. That's when the questions can begin. All right. But I haven't put them out there yet. So just stay ready, stay get yourself pumped up and motivated, right? Oh yeah, buy some books if you haven't yet. Use your Patreon code. Remember? Patronage. PATRONAGE. Use that code. You get 20% off the entire order. And we got a lot of new hardcover books like Muntu Warriors. Have you seen Muntu Warriors yet? Let me see if I got it here. Do I have it here? No, I ain't got it here right on me. Muntu Warriors is lit. Muntu Warriors is one of the best investments we've made. That's lit. And there's a lot of it right away. So we're at like chapter 16. 16 chapters of Muntu Warriors. This guy's a beast. I can't believe he signed with us for real. We got lucky when we got him. You know, and Monarchs is next. Monarchs is going to be coming out very soon as well. We fully colored all his stuff. So his whole manga was black and white. His whole manga was black and white before. Now it's fully colored through us. And it's a lot of color. It's like 300 pages of coloring. Like, it was crazy. We overhauled the entire series from the ground up. Once he signed Black Sands, we overhauled the entire freaking series. So it's wild. Let me show you some of that before we go. I might as well show you what freaking what's it called looks like now. Let's see. Because he just sent me the print files for chapter 1. And I'm telling you, man, it's like night and day when you see like the black and white versus the straight up fully colored one. It's beautiful, man. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Let me share this screen. Present, share screen. And this is the idea of when you're working with Black Sands. Eventually, you're gonna come to stuff like this, where you're just, you know, there's some things that you'll never be able to do on your own, but you'll be able to get done with us, right? So, look at how that looks now. If you've read Monarchs before, if you're a fan of him before, then this has got to be the craziest thing we've ever seen. Let's see if I can get this a little bigger. Can I get bigger? No, it's fine. Look at how that looks. Look at the level of lighting, right? Feels like an actual show. This looks like a cartoon. This is not what the manga looked like at all. This looks like a cartoon straight up, you know? And I couldn't be prouder of it. This is going to be just absurd. The success that we're going to have with Monarchs, right? And we'll see what happens in the future, right? We'll see what happens. Flex on them. Let's go. Hey, what's up, Tracy? That's my auntie right there. She over here on LinkedIn. What's going on, man? Let's see. Do you have any plans to ever do something in gaming too? Yeah, eventually. Allegedly, I have some people who want to do gaming with me, but who knows? Will they do it? Will they actually follow through? I don't know. Because for me, all I need is a proper plan, a proper business plan for it, right? And a budget. And then I can go to WeFunder, and I promise you my investors will fund it, right? If we do something that's not too expensive, like a $500,000 video game on Black Sands, I'm pretty sure we can fund it in like a week. You know, 1 week, we just fund it right away, right? And then we get to work and knock that out, right? But the development team needs to be able to do it themselves. I can't do it. I'm a very busy man, right? So they have to be able to take my IP and make fucking amazing things with it. Hopefully they can. Do you still take third-party submissions? Not anymore. We just don't have the bandwidth for it anymore. We have a lot of different titles now, so we just don't have the bandwidth. And that goes for the same question for Zoe. Yeah, we just don't have the bandwidth for anything new. No, it's this is not necessarily accurate. It's close. Fan Yang is second least. So Min Cab had the least. Min Cab had the least. But almost all the people that went for Min Cab didn't miss. They didn't miss. A lot of people got cut for Amphos, Masika, Surkati, right? Even Fan Yang. Fan Yang had a big failure rate. But Min Cab didn't have a big failure rate. People who wrote for Min Cab believed in Min Cab. People who wrote for Min Cab believed in Min Cab. They said, this is a bad I shall write. Okay, let's see. I'll see y'all later. Peace.